You have found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Vooch calling out his doubters. We're also going to talk about ask the question, did AK set the goals too low for the team, in which he said that the team wants to get to the playoffs. And then lastly, DeMar has a unique challenge for P. Will. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. And Pat, I always love when the season starts because it gives us, of course, something to talk about. But on top of that, players just come out with a little bit more vitriol, and that's what happened with Nikola Vucevic.
Yeah.
He started off the season spicy. I don't know if you saw, I know you saw the media day press conference where he already came out there a little spicy as is, where he's following that up in an interview with the Chicago Sun-Times with Joe Cowley. He said that, that he's had to sacrifice the most out of his game individually, and for the people that doubt his game or criticize his game, they don't know basketball. How do you feel about that quote, Pat?
I told y'all, Bulls fans would have hated Chris Bosh if he came here. Nikola Vucevic in 2 seasons now. I don't know if y'all expected him to come in and be this defensive juggernaut or even to maintain the 23-point per game player that he was the year that we traded for him, right? But it wasn't a realistic thought because you were asking him to be the third best player on your team and you were giving him the role of the third best player on your team. And you were taking opportunities out of his hand, basically, right? How many people? You can't sit here and tell me you didn't watch Nikola Vucevic basically get underutilized in the fourth quarter of games when the Bulls absolutely needed. Remember everything Billy Donovan said in media day, right? Offensive rebounding, more points in the paint, and to attack the paint more because that's where you get most of your fouls. All of those things that we saw underutilized now for what, 2-3 years since Vooch has been here? Well, 2.5, right? He came halfway through the season pretty much.
Well, I would say his first season that he came here, he was still very much him because Zach went down. So it was
26 games. Yeah, I mean, it was 26 games of the season. Yes, he was more of him. But realistically, right, like when I look at what Nikola Vucevic, the player is, of course, he's being underutilized right now. And of course, he's not being asked to do the same things he was being asked to do in Orlando. But we're not even asking him to do what he's best at. And I think that that's where a lot of Bulls fans are like, oh, my God, well, he can't knock down the three ball at a high clip. He was never a great three-point shooter. He had one hot season, and everybody was like, this guy's got to be it. That's why the heck I'm scared of Torrey Craig, but I'm hoping for the best. You know what I mean? But realistically with Vooch, when I look at how people talk about his game, it does tell me that you're not understanding what's happening in the game. You're just going based off of what the numbers are at the end of the game. Because yes, are there things that Vooch does poorly? Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's the perfect center to have, right? He's not a great three-point shooter. He's okay. He's enough of what you want him to be if you utilize him in the paint. Is he an elite defender? No. Is he an okay defender? Sure. People have him as a bad defender, and that's just not what the numbers would tell you when you look at his defensive metrics in the NBA, right? So it's like you have to take what Vooch says to me with some validation because people are just kind of like, he didn't do what he did in Orlando, so I don't like him anymore. Or he's not Joakim Noah. He wasn't Joakim Noah before he got here. He's not going to be Joakim Noah when he shows up.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I always say is that people criticize Vooch for stuff that he's never was, never has been, and we didn't bring him here to be either. That's not what we brought him here to be. So
if you brought Vooch here to be a defensive center,
Hey, listen,
You fail.
Listen. They gotta stop smoking something strong if that's the case. But like all jokes aside, like Vooch is good. Like, you're not gonna find many third options that average 18 and 11 when they're still. Keep in mind all this to where they're not being utilized to the best part of their skill set. You're talking about if you find a way, even as being the third option, to get Vooch more touches in the area that he's best at. He's still basically giving you Orlando numbers as a third option. So y'all got to chill on my man Vooch, bro.
And it's not even to say like there's this over love or like I don't think that there are centers better than him out there. But the problem is that people just want, you know what people want from the center position? What we saw the last time we won. That's not the modern NBA. I hate to break this to y'all. Joakim Noah is not the modern NBA. It's just not. He could have maybe developed into that. Maybe he could have turned into that at some point, but he's not a modern NBA center. Oh, but he ran the floor and he could pass the basketball well. You don't want the ball in your center's hands. We did that because everybody else was dead. Yeah. We didn't want the ball in Joakim's hands. We just had no choice. You know what I mean? Like it's everybody that talks about Vooch as if they want him to be this defensively elite center. And I'm going to be honest with you, right? Like the best defensive elite center in the game right now is what? Brook Lopez? Jaren Jackson, maybe? But Jaren Jackson can't stay out of foul trouble, so I can't even throw him in there, really. Averaging 5 fouls a game is impressive. I'm not going to lie to you.
That is, bro, that's crazy.
There's only 5. There's only 5.
That's crazy. That's crazy when you think about it that way. But yeah, I mean, Bam, when he's on defensively, now we've seen Bam get cooked sometimes too. But when he's on,
this is the thing with Bam. Remember, all last season, Bam was getting cooked and got hot in the finals or right before the finals, right? And then it was all of a sudden like, oh snap, Bam is back. But like when you watched Bam, when I would see like Ringo was ready, y'all know Ringo, the only Heat fan we actually know. He was ready to trade Bam at the deadline. He was like, bro, this every time this man go up against Embiid, Jokic, all the top guys that we want to say aren't going to cook him, he gets cooked.
So just to support what my homie Pat is saying here, Bam Adebayo for his career is a 106 defensive rating. In 2021-22, he had a career best 104.1 defensive rating, tied his career best. He also had that his second year in the league. Do you want to guess what Bam's defensive rating was last season, Pat?
111?
Close. 110.9. You know who had a better defensive rating than Bam Adebayo?
Vooch! Get off my man's Voochie, bro. No, Bam was getting cooked last season. Like it was bad, bro. Like it was no, remember, didn't Vooch was cooking in one game here, didn't
Vooch did. And
Vooch was like elite against.
Wait, pause. And this is what I always say with people. Vooch is a terrible pick and roll defender, but when Vooch is man on man, he's pretty good. You want to know what Nikola Vucevic's career defensive rating is?
109, I want to say.
106.2.
Ooh.
You know what that means? That is above average for his career.
Hey, that's so far above average. That's crazy.
Average defensive for his career, Nikola Vucevic has a better defensive rating than Bam Adebayo.
Let's keep it a buck though. It does feel wrong. It feels wrong. That's one of them joints. You know, Musk finna be in the comments like, defensive rating ain't a real stat, though. You can't use that.
No, defensive rating is absolutely real stat. It's not everything. And I want to be clear.
It's not the end-all be-all.
Vooch is a terrible rim protector. That's not terrible, maybe too strong of a word, but he's not a great rim protector.
He's a below average rim protector, yeah.
Yeah, and in pick and roll defense, if you don't have quick guards there, he's going to get cooked, barbecue chicken 9 times out of 10. Yeah. But you know what? When you put him down there to guard other big men and keep them from scoring points at the rim, Vooch is well above average. He has been a top 10 defensive center every step of top 12. Let me be more realistic. Every year of his NBA career, while giving you elite offense. Get off my man Vooch, bro.
Yeah, I'm with you, dog. It's so funny to me because it's like. Now I will say this: we have eyes. The problem with Vooch defensively in this system is we get caught in a ton of pick and roll.
Yeah, they pick and roll us to death. Like, I mean,
we get murdered in pick and roll.
It's like him, DeMar, Zach, all terrible pick and roll defenders. So if you catch any two combination of two of those three players, chances are you about to score some points.
There is context to that as well.
Yeah,
we are terrible at the pick and roll and get killed on it all the time. Yeah. But there is also, right, like, again, I go back to this. I didn't bring Vooch here to be a defender. I brought Vooch here to be an offensive player. Let Vooch play offensive for the second. I don't know if y'all remember this, but for the second media day in a row, Vooch started off media day by saying, I'm not a three-point shooter. You can't just stick me in the corner and tell me to shoot threes.
Oh, no, he didn't say that this time. He said, I will not stand at the three-point line and just wait to take. Last year said I
got my contract.
This year he said, I will not. This is not what I'm about to do.
You know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense. And I love what he said. I'm not Jokic, but I'm a pretty good post playmaker. Like, real talk. If you have Vooch and you don't have a point guard, why wouldn't you operate through Vooch?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Zach LaVine on the corner, catch and shoot. He's an elite catch and shoot player.
That's what I'm saying, and that's one of my biggest issues, and that is what I liked from media days. That it really did seem, at least right now, talking wise, Billy Donovan has realized flaws in his coaching, and let's see if he actually is going to correct them.
They did a lot of talking last year.
He talks a great game, but
every coach we get can talk.
Nah, Tibbs couldn't talk to save his life. He hated to talk, bro.
Tibbs won. Tibbs didn't need to talk. Tibbs be like, get off my. He's got 48 wins. What I'm gonna say?
That's funny. Next up, we're going to talk about AK and ask the question, did he set the bar too low for this season? But before we get into that, we're going to talk to you guys about our sponsor, Ibotta. The holidays are near, which means you might have lost a long list of gifts you need to buy. Don't just spend money on everyone else without getting anything in return. Use Ibotta to start getting cash back today. Ibotta gives you cash back on hundreds of grocery items, from produce to personal care to pantry goods, so you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. Either link your loyalty account or upload your receipt after you shop and get your cash back. It's that easy. The average Ibotta user earns $100 per year. That could cover the cost on anything from an entire shopping trip to cash back to that flight you've been eyeing, the game you've been dying to go to, or the fancy dinner you've been craving. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much. With Ibotta, you get real cash back that you can cash out to your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. You can earn cash backs on hundreds of online brands and retailers too when you start with Ibotta, including Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. Download the Ibotta app and use code LOCKED to start earning real cash back. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app and use code LOCKED. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code LOCKED. All right, Pat. So, also in media day, AK said that the goal for this season is to make the playoffs. Now, I wanted to present this to you. We talked about it a little bit in our pregame meeting. Is that bar too low for the Chicago Bulls this season?
How many teams we got ahead of them? I think I'm gonna be honest with you, and maybe I'll be wrong by the end of it. I have no faith in the Atlanta Hawks. And I think this is the year that the Knicks kind of get sick of Thibs. There's always that year. But maybe the Knicks I still have up there, right? So what do we got? We got Boston, Milwaukee.
Cavs next? You going Cavs?
I put Cavs up there. And Knicks. And it doesn't feel good, but I'll keep them up there.
Philly, I have no faith in Philly.
I have no faith in Philly because James Harden is supposed to be coming back. Like I don't believe in that. I think Nick Nurse is an okay coach, but like I think Nick Nurse has many of the exact same flaws that Doc Rivers and Billy Donovan had. Yeah. Like I don't think that this situation drastically changes because you brought in Nick Nurse. Like he still didn't adjust well last season and didn't know how to set up an offense.
But yeah, the Hawks don't believe in. Miami Heat got worse. They didn't replenish anything that they really lost. The Toronto Raptors, we finished ahead of them last year. Well, per the standings, but I think they had one more win than us. And then you do also have to worry about the Indiana Pacers, even though they finished considerably below us. But
probably
that's
moving
a team
up.
That's going to probably move up this year. But that middle of the pack area, you got the Knicks, Philly, Brooklyn, Atlanta, Miami, Chicago, Toronto, with the Pacers there, all basically fighting over 5 playoff spots.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, because at first I was like, setting the playoffs is too low, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being top 6 in that means something. There's some fights in there, and you're gonna have a lot more people playing 82 games. And no matter what you say about it, right? Like when they are out there, they're dogs in between the lines.
Yeah,
right. They're not gonna go out there and like
they're gonna play.
play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you put them out there, they're going to play. I think you're gonna have a lot more people playing. I don't know about 82. What was the threshold? 65, right? We said
we said 60. Anything over 65.
No, what's the actual rule like to make all NBA teams? Ain't it 65 too?
It's 65, yeah.
65, right? Yeah. So you're gonna get guys playing majority of the games. I think that if you make the playoffs in this Eastern Conference, that's gonna be a pretty good. It's gonna be a pretty good team. And of course, right, you have to add things to it, and you have to see steps. You have to see growth. I think here's the thing. How do we make the playoffs? Do we make the playoffs the same way that we made the playoffs this year off of the backs of Vooch, Zach, and DeMar, and we get a mid-season acquisition, and it's an up and down fight the entire season, and we're like dragging dead bodies into the playoffs or the play-in at that point, right? Or does somebody take a step? If we make the playoffs, and it's because P. Will looks really good. Kobe White really looks like a really good point guard for us. Yeah. Right, like Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry, right? If you make the playoffs in that, there seems to be a path forward. That's a different goal to me than if we just make the playoffs off the back of our vets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, I think
it's okay. It's okay. It's not great, right?
Making the playoffs outright. It does mean something. I will say that if the Bulls can make the playoffs outright by avoiding the play-in, it means that you took a step up from last season. But to me, that puts you right back where you were in 2021-22. Yeah. And I want to see the team even step up above that. So, like, I get, and I have to be realistic in it, right? The Eastern Conference is going to be a dogfight. It's a lot of teams in similar positions, unless the team finally move. Like if Toronto finally moves Pascal Siakam and decides to, get younger, okay, that changes some things. But the Pacers are definitely a team I'm looking at, and I'm saying that Ben Mathurin's going to be a starter to start off the season now this year. Like a little bit worried about them, but like Hawks, not worried
Pacers
about as far as.
Nice
yeah, Pacers going to be a nice team for a while, too. For a while.
If it's any reason to get better, it's just because the Pacers got better. It's certain teams I care about. Losing to the Pacers be pissing me off.
The Brooklyn Nets, like that's a team. How do you view the Brooklyn Nets? Because they finished last season strong after the trade, right? Still a pretty deep team.
No, they didn't finish strong at all. They made the playoffs off of the back of how many games KD and them won.
Let me go back and see. I could have sworn I know they went on a losing streak towards the end there, but they went on an initial winning streak after KD and them got traded.
I think that winning streak was real short. I think we talk about like 5 games.
Let's see. Let's take a look.
I might be wrong, but I remember that finishing like, hey, y'all dead. Like somebody dragged them over there. And they didn't change much. You still got Jacques Vaughn in there as the head coach over there, right? They signed him on pretty much as the main guy. So Brooklyn is
they won 6 out of the last 10 games. They did go on an initial after the trade deadline, they did go on a 3-game winning streak. They lost 4 before that. Then they lost 5 in a row. So yeah, it was up and down. I don't know why I remember bringing pretty hot, but okay. Cool. Maybe it was just Miles Bridges ended that season on fire.
Yeah, he did. I just remember talking about it on Locked On NBA and just being like, I think Nick said it too, and he was like, Brooklyn is still a team that you got to worry about. I was like, you do not. You have no worries. Don't worry about them. But no, I don't view Brooklyn as a team that took a great step forward. Toronto, Toronto sound like they going the other way.
Bro, like
Toronto sound like they need to really blow it up, or Masai Ujiri need to stop talking.
Well, Masai Ujiri definitely, like, we haven't started talking contract extension. Then Pascal's like, I'm a Raptor for right now. Like, it's like what's happening over there, bro?
Did you hear him say that he's a selfish player? He said, I think that he was he became a little bit of a selfish player last year. Pascal's like, I've never been a selfish player in my life. And then he doubled down. He's like, I stand by it. I was like, just get rid of him, bro. Just send him over here.
Come on, man. We can give you a lightly used Lonzo Ball for him. How about that?
No. He's been used like Tibbs would use him, bro. He's been used, bro. Lonzo Ball been used like a 7-Eleven, bro.
That's like That's funny. I was
Nope, not on the pod. Nope,
yep,
leave it
not
alone.
Doing it.
Yep, leave it
not
alone.
doing it. Not doing it. Malik Andrews. With that said,
okay. All right.
But yeah, I think we
the
both
views
agree.
of Haize are not the views of Pat the Designer on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
But next up, we're going to be talking about DeMar's challenge to P. Will. We want to remind you guys that Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube and the Odyssey. DeMar had a challenge for P. Will, and in that he said that the challenge was he wants P. Will to get a tech this season, and he would pay for it. How do you feel about that challenge laid out towards Patrick Williams from DeMar?
Is it safe to speak? I don't even know what that is. No. It would be interesting. What is a P. Will tech gonna look like? I think that's all I want to see, bro. That's all I want to see, bro. Is it like P. Will actually snapping, or is it P. Will like just like, bro? I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, seriously, think about this. What does a Kawhi Leonard tech look like? I'm not saying they're the same player, but their personalities on the court are very similar. I don't think I've ever seen a Kawhi Leonard tech. I know they've happened.
I was about to say, would it be similar to a Mike Dunleavy tech? But no, Mike Dunleavy, while his face never changed, Mike Dunleavy was...
Mike Dunleavy be snapping.
Mike Dunleavy used to throw people around.
I can't even think of what a Kawhi Leonard tech would look like. So, like, I don't even know what a P. Will tech would look like. I guess if the goal is him being a more aggressive player and he's upset that things aren't going his way, I'm okay with that.
You know what? A P. Will tech would look like Snowflake from A Pet's Life, Secret Life of Pets.
That's wild.
Yeah,
that's wild.
That's what it would look like.
Just small and no, I don't see that one.
Yeah, yeah, it looked like Snowflake.
I don't see he was
because Snowflake. You know how he went to the comm and the next thing you know, he's snapping and jumping all around. That'd be a P. Will tech.
I'm actually, I need y'all to understand this. I'm actually looking up a Kawhi Leonard technical foul right now.
Has Kawhi Leonard ever had a tech?
He has had techs. I know I remember him getting a tech, and I want to say that it was like somebody got thrown out and he got a tech because he was debating them getting thrown out. But I just like, what would P. Will get a tech for? Like, oh, I missed my dunk. You know what I mean? Like, like, I don't know.
That's funny.
Oh no, he look. Oh, that was a weak tech. Hey, bro, it was a weak tech, bro. He literally just said, "Come on."
It may be similar to a Vooch tech.
No, Vooch get after it. Vooch earned his techs. Vooch gave a ref the finger.
Yeah, he didn't get magically. He didn't get a tech for that though.
He was behind him. He was behind him. Vooch snaked him on that one, but. Yeah, no, I don't know, man. I don't know. The P. Will tech feels weird. I like the goal, I guess, but like at the end of the day, what are we trying to say with a tech? Like P. Will should come out in the first game and just be like, "Oh," and then like just get one and then like, "All right, I got it and I pay for it."
That's funny. That's funny. Hey, I don't know, man. I mean, listen, when it comes down to P. Will, like him showing any bit of fire and aggression, that's just what we want to take. But like we'll take that from P. Will. It's cool. Like just get fired up from time to time, P. Will. He's robotic out there sometimes.
Here's my hope, right? That he's in enough positions in the rim where the refs miss a call.
Okay.
That's all. Like, if we're gonna break it down from a basketball aspect, I guess like I want him to be in enough positions to where like the refs are missing calls and he actually has to look at the ref and be like, "You ever gonna call that?"
Mm-hmm.
Because that means you got an opportunity. That means you're taking shots. Can't get technical fouls not taking shots.
Agreed.
I don't know, man.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, overall, like. When it comes down to the young players this season, I just want to see it stay. I don't care if it's a tech. I just, like, to your point, like, just be around the rim. Like, fight for offensive rebounds, which is another thing that, AK and Billy talked about, like, us being in position to get offensive rebounds and trying to fix that part of the game. Like, if you do those type of things, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think the biggest thing, this says, hey, bro, this video says, every Kawhi Leonard technical foul, the first picture is him looking lost. and it's only 2 minutes long.
That's funny. That is hilarious.
I love it, man. I love it. I don't get text just to get text, P. Will, but do a great job of being more active in the offense, which I think he will, right? If we're operating more from Vooch out of the paint, I think that he's going to be the beneficiary of a lot of open threes. I think that he's going to be, I mean, just based on how this team is constructed, right? Listen, it's not like DeMar is going to change his shot profile all of a sudden, although that is a big thing that
he said. Hey, listen, he said he's just never consciously focused on it, but he can make threes.
The numbers say he can too, which is wild. You pointing that out to me, you were like, every time he took more than 3, he shot like 50%. And I looked, and this man was like elite anytime he took more than 3 3-pointers. I was like, bro, this man could have like a Stephen Curry finish to his career, or a Vince Carter. Remember Vince Carter just all of a sudden?
Bro, Vince Carter did all of a sudden start making threes. That was crazy, bro.
Jason Kidd out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know, man. Hey, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat The Designer. Appreciate y'all for showing love. P. Will, get that tech.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. You know how to spell it, man. We want to appreciate you guys for tuning in and staying locked in with us over here at Locked On Bulls, man. We'll be back tomorrow breaking down more things. I'm sure we'll get some details from practice, but hey, that's it. For Pat The Designer, I'm Haize. This has been Locked On Bulls, and guess what? We about you. Peace out.